Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. Year 15 of Sportsradamus. I think we trademarked this way back before the internet started, and we're excited to bring it out today.
The only thing I know is we own the domain, and there is nothing on the domain, but Sportsradamus is a real thing. We've had a good track record. Maybe last year was probably our down year, but I think overall we've had some pretty solid predictions. So we're going to hit those again. I didn't pull the audio, but I remember I predicted COVID on one of mine in 2019.
That's the best prediction we've ever had. Mike predicted literally end of 2019. He goes, something's going to happen where people stop going to sports events and start watching at home, and it's going to be a better experience. And he nailed it completely because no one could go to sports for like 6 months.
And that was a weird part too. It's like you got to be kind of vague with it. And that's the hard part. You almost have to like really sit in that mode of like, okay, what's kind of vague that maybe could happen? I went a little too direct this year, but we'll get into it. We're going to recap the year first, and then we're going to jump into the Sportsradamus predictions. But I did want to say, before we do this, we do have a chat thread on our Substack. So if you have comments or other predictions you might want to throw in that we could read in the new year, throw that out. It's in our Substack. Just go there, subscribe. Just go to the Sports Hangover, search it. You'll find it. We're everywhere. We're literally everywhere. Leave a comment on the video. I just want people to, I want to see what their predictions are too.
And we have the Hangover Hotline, so we will read some of them. If they're really good, we'll steal them as our own. If they're really terrible, we'll roast you, like a 49ers quarterback. So there's a lot of topics you can get into. Where
do you want to start? Because I think last year we had biggest losers and biggest winners of 2024. Do you want to just start at the top?
Let's just start right there. Yeah, winners and losers. I have a vote for each one. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. This is a pretty broad. I was sitting here like last week and over the weekend. I just kept thinking like this is the last one I filled out. I had other ones. I feel like I went a little political this year because a lot of political stuff happened.
He's riding his wave. He got one win in November, and he's riding it through New Year's. Here we go.
I'm going to say biggest winner of 2024, Elon Musk. That man almost is president at this point. So Elon, to me, biggest winner, biggest losers, the Democrats. They're the biggest losers in my eyes.
This is a sports podcast. What are you doing to people? What are you doing right off the bat?
I couldn't think of anything else. I felt like it was all
think of anything else but Democrats are losers. You're just like Trump's True Social account at this point. You might as well be.
But that's what I thought about it because I was like, okay, I felt like it was kind of involved in sports a little bit. People were getting fined for wearing like Trump hats and all this stuff. So I felt like it crossed the line of everything. And we've been pushed into a new era of we don't know what yet, but it looks like some craziness is to come. But those are my winners and losers of 2024.
Elon Musk has not left Mar-a-Lago since Election Day. You never see the vice president, J.D. Vance. You never see Trump's family. It's always Elon Musk sitting right there at the table with every meeting. Elon Musk is now Speaker of the House, blocking things in Congress. The new budget apparently is his. So I think you're onto something. I think you're right. You didn't have to go on the losers one. We just alienated 40% or so of our fan base. But I'm going to win him back with my loser of the year. So we'll go a little back and forth here. First of all, my winner is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is my winner of the year. He is dominating sports media. He has so many headlines written about him when Aaron Rodgers is on. Belichick was on all year. His show didn't launch on ESPN this year, but he became a star this year. He became bigger than ESPN. He got into a feud with an executive that was there for like 30 years running their content. That guy's out. McAfee's still in. College Game Day, he's taking his shirt off. He's feeding Nick Saban like food off of the bone for barbecue. The guy is everywhere. He's entertaining. He's on WWE every night. He was on NBC last week doing the Saturday Night's Main Event. He's everywhere. He's dominating. He's cashing in. And love him or hate him, he is the king of sports media in a way that Joe Rogan is the king of altogether media right now.
I agree. I had him on our sportsman of the year, but I do have an alternative that I can pop in there for you. But yeah, he was definitely on my list as well.
Sportsman of the year. I want to hear that. My losers are two different police departments actually. One in Louisville, Kentucky. They arrested Scottie Scheffler during the PGA Championship. That was a terrible move. We're not backing the blue in Louisville. And then the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill had a terrible year, all because he was arrested before the first game of the season. He was handcuffed. He was all fired up. I swear the Dolphins were set for like a Super Bowl run until that happened week one, and it all went out the window. So Miami PD, Louisville PD, you are our losers of the year. Get it together when athletes are involved.
I thought you were going to talk about Luigi getting arrested and being courted in like he was like a superhero or something last week.
That's a whole different story. Apparently, Eric Adams is in trouble for walking behind him in that shot and might affect the outcome of the trial.
Yeah.
Luigi might get off. He was laughing in court today. He might get off because Eric Adams was in the shot.
It felt like a scene from like when Superman was locked up in like Superman vs. Batman and he was like locked up. That literally felt like a scene from a movie. It was the craziest thing. We haven't seen anything. Even P. Diddy wasn't like escorted around like that. Like just this guy.
But you mentioned that Luigi, P. Diddy, and Sam Bankman-Fried are all in the same Brooklyn jail right now. Like, if they're having conversations, I would love to hear what
that'd be some wild stuff.
Honestly, Diddy's probably into Luigi, right?
Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe it's
Diddy,
what a party that prison is. What else do I have? I had like the biggest scandal of the year, which again,
me too. What was yours?
It might go political.
Mike.
I listen, I sat down. I was really trying to think about it. I felt like there wasn't that many scandals in sports that I could think off the top of my head. I was trying to do it without a lot of research, like what really stuck out to me. And I felt like what stuck out to me was a lot of weird deception on social media. I feel like the social media deception, this goes maybe bigger than politics, but I feel like we're getting to an era, and you'll find this out in my Sportsradamus predictions, but we can't tell what's real and fake anymore. Images, videos, things happening online, stories, headlines. I don't know what's real. I saw a story last week. Some Republican senator in Texas was in a dementia facility for the last 6 months, but still in a Republican seat in the House or something like that. So it's just like weird stuff. Like, what is happening? Is that real? I didn't look into it, but I read the headline. I was like, what the fuck?
Fact check it. It could be real. And that is a problem with media. People want to blame media, but really these things are coming from everywhere. And even Joe Rogan talked about in his pod recently. He said he doesn't know what's real and fake anymore. And he's saying like what we're saying, like we don't know either. So don't trust everything you see, but you have to trust some stuff. Who do you trust? It's gotten really murky out there.
Well, trust that we're seeing aliens and orbs and plasmoids and stuff.
And trust the sports hangover. We have a track record of speculating facts. My big scandal city, Mike, this one is actually sports. I actually stuck to the theme.
All right, good. You're keeping us together here.
A very famous host on TV went live on Instagram and proceeded to bang a woman pretty hard at that time. Shannon Sharp had sex on Instagram Live. It was audio only. It was so bizarre. He kept his job, so you know he has like a pretty good track record that he got to survive that on ESPN and his podcast and all his jobs. But that was a crazy, scandalous moment.
And he's sponsored by like Viagra now. He has like an ad for Roman Sparks or something where he is sponsored by Viagra.
So it's probably like you said, what's real and what's fake. It was a marketing campaign probably to get him. It
was great. Yeah, I can't tell what's real and fake anymore. So,
but hey, all the rumors. There was rumors about Shannon Sharp, maybe not being into women. Those went away after this Instagram live.
Yeah, those all went silent for sure. I have worst broadcast duo and NFL's biggest bust. If you want to,
I would love to hear those. Yes.
So worst broadcast duo, I feel like we've already got this, but I want to say first, I think decision-making at Fox Broadcasting, big thumbs down to you guys. You guys signed Tom Brady to a $300+ million deal, and that man is bad. He is a bad broadcaster, and he has won my award as the worst broadcaster of 2024.
Kevin Burkhardt really caught a stray here. He's really good at his job, really sets Brady up, tries to pull stuff out.
All the time.
If it was still him and Olsen, they might be your number one team anywhere. But instead, they just changed out Olsen for Brady and they became the worst. And you're so right. Brady's going to come up with my predictions. I won't spoil it here, but I don't think he's going to stick around the Fox booth very long. I have a new assignment for him, and it's been really bad. He's going to do the Super Bowl this year unless he steps out before that.
Do you think they would slot somebody else in?
Yeah, Greg Olsen. He's sitting right there. I think they could. Buck and Aikman are my favorite duo, by the way. They're dominating Monday Night Football. They have to because it's a standalone game. I don't want to watch Eli Manning. He's not entertaining. I don't get the Manning cast at this point. So Buck and Aikman have to carry Monday nights. You like it? What do you watch it for?
I like it when there's a game on that I don't really care about and they'll talk about stuff. It's almost like I'm listening to a podcast that's live watching the game. So if I'm not into the game, I like it. If I want to watch the game, I'll just turn the game on itself.
I agree with the theory, but I don't want to listen to Eli Manning. He's very not interesting. Peyton Manning is very overexposed. Like, if we're going to have a podcast during a game, can we get better people? Like a McAfee pod is even better than that.
There's like, what, Peyton Manning? Like painting Manning. There's a stock trader Peyton Manning. There's like, he's in so many ads right now. It's wild.
He doesn't say no.
I wouldn't either. My NFL's biggest bust. I think you saw it coming all year. I've been talking about this man. Caleb Williams is my 2024 biggest NFL bust. Last year was Bryce Young, 2023. I kept a little note here. Bryce Young, maybe having a resurgence this year. I don't know. He still wouldn't be my number one choice for a new franchise. Caleb Williams, though, 2024 was not your year. You texted your kicker or punter at the beginning of the year saying you will not be punting at all this season. And he's actually punted more yards than Caleb has thrown this year. Not looking great for my man, Caleb. Blow that whole team up. Just get a new coach in, trade away people. Like, it's over. Just get rid of them.
They are. They're not going to trade the quarterback. They're going to make other trades because when you take a quarterback that high, as you know, Mike, it's like a 4 to 5 year mistake. It's not a 1 year mistake. There's no getting out of this. The Panthers have been in it for Bryce Young, and maybe he's waking up from dead, and maybe he's going to be okay going forward. Maybe that's Caleb Williams. Maybe in December 2025, we're talking about the resurgence he made with the new head coach, Ben Johnson of the Bears. Maybe he makes a turn like Bryce Young did when Andy Dalton was in that car crash.
We'll see. What else do you have? I've like top 5 shows.
Well, I was going to give you credit for in the predictions area for nailing Caleb Williams. You nailed it from the jump. You were right. That was your best Sportsradamus in my book. Looking back on last year's notes, is that you were so right. You should have been the talent evaluator in the room and said, "Guys, don't do it." Jaden Daniels is so good. He's so fun. He can do it all. He's sitting right there, and for the second year in a row, the best quarterback went number 2, which continues to tell me NFL GMs know nothing because Mike knows more than them.
What do we think about Penix? It seems like he booted Kirk out of his job, and Kirk's going to retire.
That was a sexy first game for Penix. I think Kirk is going to resurface. I actually have a prediction about where Kirk is going next year.
Okay, I like that.
Because it won't be Atlanta. But Penix looked good in his first game. He's only going to get better. He's one of those college QBs who had 1 million starts in college. And so he's got the reps, he's got the experience, and it looked like it when he came in. Then the Bucs lost that game. Looks like the Falcons are going to the playoffs. We talked about that last week, but still a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on there. I got my top 5 TV shows. I feel like this was a hard one. I tried to keep track of a lot of shows I watch. Sometimes you forget when you watch a show in January and you're like, what the hell did I watch?
I forget, so I make lists now. I have to make lists. I think you do this too because we all watch so much content. You have to. Too
much. I'm going to go no particular order here. I'm going to read them down. I have Shogun. That was on FX. I have Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I think that was on Amazon Prime. The Penguin on HBO. Nobody Wants This on Netflix, and then Ripley on Netflix. Ripley was probably one of my more it felt very artsy, but like a solid story. Like you didn't really have a lot of dialogue in it. It was just a very artsy movie, which I really enjoyed.
It was a movie or a show?
No, it was a show. It was a show.
A series.
Yeah.
Wow. Netflix and HBO, they're making these high quality series that other people just aren't making. They feel like movies every episode. Mike, I didn't see any of the 5 of those. What? That's really embarrassing.
The hell did you watch?
I haven't had a home since July. That's part of it. I'm kind of couch surfing. That'll come to an end soon. I have one favorite show of the year. I mean, before I get to that, if I had to watch one of your 5, which one do I have to watch first?
I think the easiest one to watch was Mr. and Mrs. Smith because it was action-packed. You kind of got the gist because you understood, if you've watched the movie in the past, kind of the same premise, kind of like, hey, you're Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're assassins, go do your job. Very fun. If you want like a, cozy Italian vibe weekend, I'd throw on Ripley. It all is in Italy and it's Italian. That's why there's like less dialogue. I don't know. It's very interesting. So I'll do that my number 2 if you want to watch it.
And then Nobody Wants This is about the Jews. You didn't play into my needs there. But
you could watch that one too. I just don't know if it's kind of like a rom-com. So you got to be ready for a rom-com.
Well, I do like the Jewish rom-coms.
Yes.
My show of the year started with a nuclear bomb dropping in the city I lived in at the time, Los Angeles. Fallout was a great show because it woke me up. It woke me up right away. The first episode of Fallout, I maintain, is one of the best pieces of content ever created in world history. The stories, the changes, the surprises, the oh my god moments of episode 1 only. Like, it's such an easy way to get people in. Episode 1 was amazing. It continued throughout. It didn't stay at that level. But just watch episode 1 and tell me you're not hooked by this series. People will love it.
And you did not previously play the game, so you had no idea.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so I think
when
you go
surprising to me.
Yeah, so I think when you go in, you already kind of knew what was going to happen, but it was nice that it was great. Yeah I actually just saw an interview with somebody, and they were saying Arrested Development, the pilot episode that aired on Fox, was probably one of the greatest pilot episodes ever created because you introduced to like 8 characters and you kind of know who they all are by the end of the 30-minute episode, which is really like 24.
It's really impressive because we see so many bad pilots, so many bad episodes, so many bad seasons of TV. And so like when you can get one episode that blows you away like Fallout or Arrested Development, that's a really big deal.
I do want to shout out Peacock and NBC. I think my new favorite weekly sitcom, St. Dennis on NBC.
It's really funny. It's funny. It's The Office in a hospital, right?
It's great. And I love David Alan Grier. David Alan Grier is great. I'm a big Adam Carolla fan, and he used to be on Loveline with Adam Carolla all the time, under DAWG. Just a great, like, I love the show. Yeah, it's great.
It's like you laugh watching it, the whole episode. It's really good, easy to binge as well. I have an event of the year also on NBC and Peacock, the Paris Olympics, Mike. Okay. That was a sneaky event of the year. People don't really talk about it months later. You kind of live it for the summer, then you step out of it back to football and everything. The American stars dominated, like from a sports athlete perspective. Simone, Steph, Noah Lyles, Katie Ledecky, all the American stars rose to the occasion. Plus, you had Paris, which I know is a city that you love so much. I officiated your wedding in Paris. That's a lifetime memory. And then it's like the city, the venues, the athletes, it all came together, and we all love the Paris Olympics.
Yeah, it was great. I love the simulcast, the gold cast.
Gold Zone, Scott Hansen.
Yeah, it was great. Also, by the way, we'll talk about it later, but I want to talk about Red Zone because that's a little frustrating.
A little controversial at the end of the season here.
I have my real quick. I didn't do 5 top. I did 4 movies because I couldn't think of a 5th movie.
Okay.
No particular order. Monkey Man, really like that. It's like John Wick but Indian. Great movie. With
I saw a series Bad Monkey on Apple TV, but I did not see this one.
Different.
Oh no, I saw Monkey Man. He makes his own movie that was on Peacock also. Yeah, I saw Monkey Man.
Well, I mean, it was in theaters, but yes, it might have been on Peacock.
It was. It must be a Universal film. That's where I watched it. It's really good. He goes crazy as like a boxer.
He's like a John Wick type guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does it for himself and his family. It's very
it's great. Deadpool 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. Really like that. Great. It was just an easy watch. It was my first movie after James was born.
You love that universe. You love that.
I don't know if I love the universe that much, but I enjoy some comic book films. Doom Part 2. Obviously, solid movie. And then recently just watched Anora. Great movie. Like, could win award. Is so good. It's great.
What is Anora about? I don't know.
Nora is about like a sex worker falling in love with a Russian billionaire and things go wrong.
Scandal City. All right.
Yeah, Scandal City for sure. Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. There's a new movie coming out with Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. That looks very good. Apparently he went no phone. I saw in his Theo Von interview. He's making the Trump rounds, all the interviews that Trump did before the election, all the mailed podcasts. He talked to Theo Von about how he didn't use his phone for 3 months during taping. He went no phone for 3 months. And anytime someone says that, like, you have my attention, because we're all so addicted, to put that down and to live a life for 3 months of Bob Dylan, I want to see that movie.
I mean, it must feel so free. Like, just imagine, it rarely happens anymore, but our phones used to get damaged when they got wet. That doesn't happen anymore. You can like jump in a pool with your phone. It's totally fine. But the days where your phone would like break, you feel free. You're like, I'm great. Like, no one can contact me. No one can find me. I'm free.
You sound a little bitter about Apple doing this. It sounds like you still want your phone not to work at times. Maybe as a new father, you just want to throw it in the pool sometimes.
I honestly, I do like going in the pool and taking pictures. You can take pictures underwater because now you got the little hard action button there and you can take pictures. So it's great. It goes under like 20 feet or something. So it's like, might as well get in the pool with your phone.
That's amazing. That's a good point on the content list that Mike is providing. Mike has never had more sleepless nights in front of the TV, going crazy on what he's searching on the internet and social media, conspiracy rabbit holes for sure. So his content lists mean a lot this year because he's been up late and up early with the baby James.
I will say on a personal note, in our conspiracy thread that you're in and a few others, we don't have to name them. It's obviously a conspiracy thread. It's a safe space. But I think having our mutual friend's brother in there was probably the best ad because we really added some like governmental access to us in there. It's great.
Governmental access, yet highly conspiratorial, yet highly involved in crazy theories on things, yet pretty educated. It's an interesting mix to this.
And sending actual videos from his phone trying to capture drones in the air in New Jersey. So
that's true. It's
been good.
He was trying.
I was trying to think like best and worst company. I have 2 best companies. I couldn't think of a worst. I also have beverage of the year.
What's the best company?
Best company, I mean, it has to be NVIDIA and then also / OpenAI. I think those are the 2 best.
NVIDIA as a stock, OpenAI for what they're actually doing, right?
Well, I think NVIDIA is kind of like powering what all these...
Powering my 401k.
It's powering it's also powering a lot of these AI companies as well, the LLMs.
They make
and
chips.
Like that.
They make chips, whatever that means.
So to me, I couldn't think of a worst. I mean, I'm sure there are terrible companies out there, but I couldn't think of any.
AI is moving really fast. We're all using AI as part of our jobs, as part of our podcasts, as part of our day-to-day life. It's coming quickly. My mom, who just turned 70, she told me recently that she was researching a trip and found a hotel on ChatGPT that wasn't coming up anywhere else and was the best deal for her. So when the 70-year-olds are doing it, it's all coming, folks.
It is all coming. What did I have? I just had a trend of the year and best tech of the year, and that's kind of
What was your drink of the year?
My drink of the year was... I haven't had a lot of it. I do have it in the house, but Guinness seems to be worldwide biggest selling beer. They're almost out of stock all across the world, and they're saying there's limited supply of Guinness. I love a good Guinness, and Guinness is my beverage of the year. I love a good Guinness. It never changes. It's always the same. It's delicious. And I know a lot of people think it's like heavy, but it's probably a lighter beer than most beers because it's not carbonated as much as like a Bud Light or something like that.
I see Guinness every bar I go to. People I'm drinking with are drinking Guinness every bar I go to.
There you
Guinness
go.
is having a year. I totally agree. It's not just you. It's out here on the East Coast. It's
You're in the East Coast. I feel like there's a lot more Guinness drinkers on the East Coast than our West Coast.
There's a lot more hardcore drinkers on the East Coast. I was telling Mike before the show, it's 2-degree wind chill yesterday as I walked to CVS, and so that'll make you drink a Guinness at 11 a.m. no matter what day of week it is.
Yeah. In the best tech of the year, this is a great one. You got to get a pair. The Ray-Ban Meta glasses with a camera, microphone, headset. You can listen to music, take pictures. You can ask it questions. It's kind of great. You can take pictures of just like going about your life, record a video just on your glasses. Very minimal. Like you can't really tell unless the light pops on, but
you can't tell. And I remember this. You had this in your house for me earlier this year. You took a video of me. I had no idea you were taking a video of me, and it was very creepy. And that might be the best use case of the glasses, but I know the glasses have a lot of tech. And Mike is a trendsetter, folks, so if he's saying this is the next big thing, by 2026, it probably will literally be the #1 seller anywhere.
That's all I got. What do you want to jump into Sportsradamus?
Yeah, I didn't do as many superlatives because I focused my research.
It's okay.
I mean, I have a lot of scandals, like you were saying, like Trump was assassinated. That was a scandal of the year, or he survived it, rather. Biden was in office as a fading old man, finally convinced not to run, but tarnishes American legacy. That was a scandal. Pro-Palestinian protesters shut down college campuses. What the hell was that about this year? That was scandalous. And then the New Jersey drones. I'm still living that one out here. That's very scandalous until they come out and tell us what they are.
I mean, this is an honest question. I went to Whole Foods the other day and there was a pro-Palestine person asking for money out front. And it's just like, I don't know. It just found weird to me. I was like, why aren't they asking for money for like the kids for Christmas here in America, not for Palestine? It just felt very confusing to me. So that's where I'm leaving it.
I don't know that one at Whole Foods. Let's get to predictions. Sportsradamus. This is our favorite thing. We have predictions for the new year. They're bound to come right. Probably 20 to 30% of them will come right, which is really impressive. We love this.
So I got like winners, and then I have some just random thoughts that I wrote down. So I have like some championship winners. By the way, I did nail Kansas City winning last year as my NFL prediction, winning the...
You really went out on a limb there. Good job on that one. I did come to your house. I mean, they won. They were the #1 seed. I think they lost one game all season. They won their second Super Bowl in a row. Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift. The whole thing was a great celebration at your house. But we did both win money when the Chiefs won. Speaking of the Super Bowl, I mentioned Tom Brady. He will be calling this year's Super Bowl. But I don't think that's going to be a good thing for us, the viewers. And it is on Fox. So he's going to be one and done. He's going to call the Super Bowl, and he's going to step away. Unless he steps away before, he's going to go to the Raiders as a majority voice. They need him.
Okay.
The Raiders are terrible. They have 2 wins this year. They just won to not have a high draft pick in the draft, which was also stupid. They need someone like him to tell them to lose when they need to, win when they need to. Brady will do the Super Bowl, and he'll be done broadcasting. We won't deal with them next year. Greg Olsen is back with Burkhardt.
I love it. I think that's a great prediction. I believe it. Now, if he stayed, how long does he stay? Because if he stays next year, what's for him not to stay another 5 years, get more reps in it? Or does he join Terry, in the booth, not in the booth, in the studio?
Listen, Terry needs to go himself. And so if Tom wants to slide into Terry's spot, that's fine. Tom doesn't need to sit on the same desk with Terry. His IQ will drop the moment he sits on that desk. Gronk got stupider sitting next to Terry Bradshaw this year.
I love that. I love that show. Sunday mornings with Terry and Gronk.
It's so random. I don't get it.
So I have some winners here. I didn't go into like anything else. I picked winners, and I talked a lot about like the future of a lot of other things. But I got a winner. I'm just going Kansas City. They're going to three-peat it. They're going to do it again. Now, I do have a dark horse. I don't know if they're going to play the Lions, but the Lions could potentially also win the Super Bowl. Maybe a good matchup there. Is that
two Super Bowl picks?
Well, it's like they might play each other, and this is my matchup. So Lions versus Kansas City, they're going to play each other in the Super Bowl. One of those two teams will win. Yeah, I got to be more vague so I can get some right.
2 1 seeds. Okay.
Listen, I know it's not crazy.
You're just warming up. You're just warming up on the predictions.
Just warming up. I got some other predictions too.
The Lions, how about this, won't be in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction because they're so beat up. They're so banged up. And you can only overcome so much by biting people's kneecaps. You actually have to win a game at some point. And they haven't been looking as good. They have a big game. I think they just played the Packers. Obviously, that had a big outcome on what happened here. I think they play, week 18 they play the Packers. Whatever it is, the Lions, I think, will lose home field. They won't be in the Super Bowl. They're too banged up. And when you take that team outside in the elements, it's just different. Like, Jared Goff is very average outside compared to inside.
Listen, they're on fire this year. They're playing well. I just think it would be hard to knock them off. Like, yes, a Tampa Bay could come there and beat them, but I don't know. They just have a lot of offense, and I feel like they can step up. So we'll see. We got a few more weeks before the Super Bowl, but
my Super Bowl winner is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going out on a literal limb. Okay. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson are going to plow through the AFC, which is hard to do. They're going to have to beat Buffalo and then Kansas City to get there. I think they will. They're rolling. They're underrated. And I told you the stat early in the year on Lamar, and people doubted me. But he has one loss in his whole career straight up against NFC teams, which means if he gets to the Super Bowl, he's like at a 23 out of 24 chance he's going to win the Super Bowl. So just get there, Lamar, and you're going to cash this bet.
They fall apart in the playoffs. That man can't perform in the playoffs. I know they got Henry this year, so we'll see how it goes, but I don't have a lot of trust in Lamar in the play.
But the Steelers fall apart in the playoffs. Someone has to advance between those two.
Someone does have to advance, but that doesn't mean they have to advance all the way to the Super Bowl.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm going to go into some of my other fun ones that I took a lot of. I wrote a lot of like random thoughts as I was going through, just so they might not be fully like vetted, but they are fun. So I'm going to start at like my last one and I go up to one that I wrote a little bit more about. But first, Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to hit 150 to about 200,000 at the end of the year because we're on that next bull cycle and the halving of Bitcoin's coming. It's going to go up. So that's going to be fun. Bitcoin, all that crypto stuff is happening.
Federal Reserve, maybe, where the government purchases a lot of crypto and the stock or the price has to go up at that point.
So the only issue I see with that is it wouldn't make sense for them to do it. It would make more sense for the Federal Reserve to make their own federal coin to back on the US dollar. Like, why use something that isn't theirs? And yes, Bitcoin is like digital gold and you don't have control of it, but I think the US wants control of their own money. So if they make their own coin and make this the digital currency, I think that could be something. It might not be as great as Bitcoin, but I think it would be something that you could like use worldwide and with minimal transaction fees. And we got David Sachs as the crypto czar, and he's gonna whip it into shape.
I like the All In podcast, but David Sachs has never been a crypto expert, in my opinion, listening to that show. I wish Chamath was more involved. I wish other people were more involved.
I feel like they got voices. They got voices in there. Chamath and
like Elon
Jason.
chirping the Trump type of voice.
Yeah. It's like Elon's technically the president.
As long as we're influencing, I want the whole All In podcast as that.
I feel like they are. I feel like they were like. I feel like they're all pretty involved. It's crazy. I was telling Aaron the other day, we were listening to the podcast, and I'm like, it's crazy that we started listening to these guys like 3 years ago, and now they're like in office making actual changes to the government from where they were a few years ago. And I know they're billionaires and they're successful, but it's kind of random that all of a sudden they got, they had Vivek on. And
it's not random when millionaires and billionaires become big points of emphasis in the government. They are looking to control. They can control everything with money except the government, so the government's one more thing for them to control.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But I do have something on here. DAWG, the Department of Government Efficiency, will kill the IRS, and we will no longer have to pay or file taxes. That is my hope for the future, and that might happen in 2026. But
will we be untaxed, or we're going to do taxes differently, or no more taxes?
I think it would be taxed differently. I think it would just be based off income and just like a flat fee instead of all these loopholes or something like that. I don't know how it will work, but they should kill the IRS because the government, guess what? Government already knows how much we make. And they make us do all this hard math and pay for all these other programs. Kill the IRS. Why not? I don't know much about it, but I am going to look into it and like what are the best things because I think it could be much easier for people.
Speaking of killing government agencies, I have a gripe against the U.S. Postal Service. They're very incompetent. They take a long time, they're actually terrible. And so privatizing the USPS makes a lot of sense to me. The issue is maybe 40% of mail are prescriptions, and I don't know how old people are going to get their prescriptions if they need to pay Amazon triple the price that they get it currently from the mail. So we might need to look out for those old people and the sick people a little bit in this scenario. But big picture, USPS sucks. They're archaic. They're ancient. They don't get the job done. You don't trust them anyway. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, but I guess to me it feels like a part of, I guess, kind of like like firefighters. We know that's probably not making money. You're not making money. You're a firefighter. We are paying you as a service to do this. And I feel like that's what the Postal Service should be. It's like, take our taxes to fund this free thing, even though we have to pay 25 cents or whatever, 35 cents now for forever stamps to get a post across the US. But that's how I think of it. It's like something we should have at a cost hidden amongst other fees somewhere. That's where I'm at. But yeah.
Police and fire, very necessary. There's emergencies everywhere. We need those. We can't make the same exact case for emergencies with the post office.
I'm not saying emergencies. I'm just saying it feels like it was like established with the US. But who knows? You could be right. I could be wrong. I'm just defending my thought on it. That's all.
We'll see which one lasts more, IRS or USPS.
I did have some sort of US stablecoin by 2026. I did write that down because that was part of like my thought there. I think remote work dies. I heard that I think almost 8% of companies are now offering remote work.
We had a good run.
Yeah,
we really got into working laying down from bed and couches, keeping our sweatpants on all day, not turning our cameras on for calls. We got really good at it, and the corporate overlords have had enough, and it seems to be the trend is going the other way. Obviously, I just moved from a great climate to a terrible one to go into the office, so the trend is right in front of us, and it's not good. I just hope they don't go back to 5 days a week. We can still do hybrid, right?
Yeah, I think like there should be a required minimal amount of time into the office. I think would be good.
You want your wife out of the house?
Well, no, their company's fully remote. They actually don't have.
She's one of the 8%, but they won't last long.
Yeah, who knows? So now I get into some like crazier stuff.
Sports?
No sports.
No, why would you sports? Let me get to some sports before your crazy ones. Let me just mix in a little sports here.
Yeah,
just
mix in some sports. Yeah, it's all right.
It's a little political too, but Stephen A. Smith is a sports guy. Pre-game shows can't contain him. First Take isn't big enough for him. We already know the Inside the NBA guys are coming to ESPN. They're going to replace Stephen A. on pre- and post games. Stephen A. is going to add late-night cable news to his resume. He's going to do a show. Maybe it's on Fox. Maybe it's on CNN. Same type of thing he does on First Take, debating sports. He's going to get on there and do it with the news, and maybe he supports some of Trump. Maybe he doesn't. I know he goes on Hannity a lot, so he's got some right-wing conservatism. Maybe he goes both sides of that fence and becomes a big star on cable news, which we haven't had for years because cable news is dying off anyway.
I like that idea. I saw him kind of debate and yell at the Democrats for like whatever with Biden and stuff like that. And I do think there is kind of a reckoning of deception, and people are finding out all these deception lies and twists and turns and everything in social media. And I think people are calling it out finally instead of just like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like, no big deal. We'll do it.
Well, it's refreshing when both sides are called out, honestly. And I think maybe someone like him who has the gravitas from sports can bring that to like news or politics, and both sides kind of feel, okay, he's right about that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Don Lemon didn't have a great shot at it when he left.
Don Lemon, I think he's on X and Twitter right now, which Jim Rome is on.
No, he's not.
He's not.
Elon fired him from Twitter, and he's on his own
he's on his
YouTube
own account on Twitter. Don's not doing well. He used to make so much money on CNN for doing that. I know. The Lakers are struggling, but there's one thing they can do to save their situation. They can trade both of them. The James boys in a package deal, LeBron and Bronny, are going to head out sometime before the All-Star game in February, but after the NFL playoffs kind of wrap up late January. So that's the window to look for. The first few weeks of February, LeBron and Bronny out. JJ Redick and the Lakers rebuild with assets and capital, and LeBron gets to take his son to someone else's team. Go be a problem somewhere else, man, because he's a problem with the Lakers. LeBron's a problem, and maybe they'll go be on a competitive team for one more playoff run. I don't know if he plays next year, but it won't be on the Lakers.
I'm gonna go a little deeper on this one. I think LeBron might run into some legal trouble because of those party like Diddy party comments.
Really?
I think something's finally gonna leak from all that Diddy stuff, and we're slowly gonna find out. I feel like they're just holding Diddy hostage to get information slowly and then like go find out what's actually going on. So I hope we hear something about the Diddy files next year.
The Diddy files will claim victims. It's just like, will anyone be left in sports and pop culture after this? Like, are we going to have to start a new brand of famous people and celebrities? Because they might all be in the same Brooklyn jail in a few months. We'll see. Let me drop a few more sports ones in here. A few more NFL predictions, Mike. There's another team with a quarterback, and it's just not quite right. Like, he's so good on paper. He's so good doing all these things. He's a big name. He plays on a team that should make a difference, but he's not. It's Justin Herbert and the Chargers. These two were drafted right next to each other in the NFL draft. These two got paid similar contracts right next to each other, but it's not working on either coast. Harbaugh wants ball control, conservative, quick passes. That's Tua. Mike McDaniel needs to open up the playbook. Go deep to Tyreek. Be a little more aggressive. It's not just the one track that Tua has. A straight up Tua for Herbert trade. The Chargers get better, the Dolphins get better, and if nothing else, both fan bases stop complaining that the other one's better because they were drafted next to each other. So there's always been this debate.
The only issue I see is Tua's got some, he's like a car that's been in multiple accidents and been fixed a few times and repaired and, paint job's a little rough. I feel like they got to throw some other assets over there.
But the car goes fast. When it's like driving in perfect conditions, when the sun is out, when it's 75 degrees, no rain, that car is the prettiest car on the highway, but it has to be a perfect day. And then just send him to LA where all the games are perfect. He's inside half the year. I think it's a great trade.
Can I jump to, let me just throw one out there. Let me just throw one in between your NFL picks, okay? Alien invasion will happen in 2025.
Love how I'm doing like LeBron, Tua, Alien, Crypto.
I couldn't think of any sports. So I'm like, you know what? Here's a winner for NFL. I couldn't think of any more fun things that happen.
Okay. Tell me about the UFOs. What's happening? What's going to happen?
I think, so I wrote down alien invasion or some sort of first contact with the public. So we will have some sort of contact. Now they keep saying in January, we're going to get something juicy. Maybe when Trump gets in office or somebody else, but I think we're going to get stuff. I think this is just the beginning of it, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I think something will happen. And I'm not saying like aliens are going to start abducting us. I think maybe like, hey, we did find life, and actually it's like the size of like an ant or something, and they actually control these spacecrafts. Like something weird that we might not actually realize, but there should be some sort of intelligent life, even if it's mechanical or AI from another world. That's what I am predicting.
I like that. We're going to learn more next year. That was one of mine. We're going to learn more about UFOs, alien life, better or worse. It might be bad news. It might be really bad news, and we might not be here at next year's Sportsradamus show. But we learn more if that's what happened. And so that could definitely happen. I just think it's a crazy time with the aliens, the UFOs. No one knows what's going on. Also, Project Bluebeam. This all could be part of them kind of starting to signal things to us, maybe getting us complacent with drones and aircraft, and maybe they're already trying to make their announcement, but the government's just warming us up. It's like a little appetizer in December before the main course comes next year.
It does feel like, God, I was watching something else. Listen, we're deep in conspiracy threads, but it does feel like somebody was saying the people that control everything, you've never heard of them. You've never seen them. You don't know who they are. And the CIA and FBI, they're like the front of it all. There's more people behind pulling the strings. And I think that's what we're hopefully going to learn more of in the new year. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Well, that's what's going on.
More football. The Las Vegas Raiders. They need a quarterback. They are going to have Tom Brady as an active owner. And Tom Brady, because he's leaving Fox, wants to be very active in his first year as a head owner, the majority owner. So is he coming to play quarterback? No. He knows how bad their offensive line is, and he doesn't want to subject himself to that. But he will do all he can to make sure Shedeur Sanders and Dion are happy. Shedeur is going to the Raiders. The new quarterback, it's showtime. It's prime time. The Raiders are going to be so popular next year. And to take it a step further, the Raiders need to do this. Mike, what is so great about Las Vegas? You know who's going to be there every weekend. They call them residencies. The Sphere has residencies. Britney Spears at one time. Adele.
Donnie
all the
Marie.
biggest stars do it. Why are the Raiders... Yes, Donnie and Marie are great. Why are the Raiders not having a residency? I want them playing on Monday nights every home game. We see these doubleheader home games or doubleheader Monday night games on ESPN. They're stacking games on us. Give me the Raiders 8 times next year on ESPN and a second game on Monday night. They can never be the first game because you never want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Give us a good game on ABC, and then give us the Raiders every home game Monday nights. Mike, I'm also boosting Vegas economy with this prediction because Vegas economy, the hotels are built on Friday to Sunday. I'm adding Monday night games to the entire Raiders schedule. People are going to come in Friday, stay till Tuesday. That's extra nights at all the hotels. We are boosting Vegas tourism.
Okay,
we are
I like
boosting
it.
the Raiders stock. Tom Brady's going to be there. Shador's going to be there. Deion's going to be there. He can coach Colorado and go to Monday night games to watch his son every week. It's going to be a show. I'm inventing programming for ESPN.
You kind of gave me an idea. I think I feel like Danny Dimes could be a good fit for you in Miami. Get rid of Tua.
What?
That was what it came up. I was like, you know what? Danny Dimes is available. No way he's staying in Minnesota. He goes to Miami next year because you guys need someone new to step in. I think Danny's not bad. If
I'd rather have the other Minnesota quarterback. Can we have him instead?
No, he's going to be too expensive.
No. Why?
Sam Darnold's going to be like more than Purdy. He's going to be worth more than Purdy.
He really? Oh, he should be. He should be. He might end up where Purdy's going. Actually, that's ahead in my predictions. Actually, that's one of my predictions. I'll just say it.
Wait.
But first, can you react to my Shador Raiders thing?
I like your idea of primetime, showtime, Coach Prime. I love that Sanders is there. I don't like maybe the Monday night residency. Might be a little much for the NFL to just say, you guys got special treatment. You guys only play Monday night. Be a little too much for the NFL. I like the idea of them coming there, but they did drop down like 6 spots from the first spot because they won a game.
Yeah, they're trading all the picks. They're trading multiple future picks to get back up and get Shador. They have to because they beat the Jaguars. Like, don't beat the Jaguars. It was very simple.
I just feel like if Tom Brady came in there, they might be a little bit more, I don't want to, not like smart about it, but they might not just go for a rookie quarterback. They might just go for somebody that's out. It seems like there's a lot of guys that are out there right now that could be your franchise quarterback. And you've seen it a few times where they like the Baker, Jameis, Darnold, like this rotation of guys that were never that great on one team, but they came to another and performed really well. I just think you got to send Sanders out to New York or something. Like,
he doesn't want to go. He won't go.
I know he doesn't want to go there, but he can't pull an Eli in this year, right? Like
Deion can't. Deion will invent his own league for Shador to play and pay him millions before he plays for a team he doesn't want to. I'm scared of Deion. I'd be scared of messing with that.
I do like that. I like the idea. I think it would be a perfect fit.
Okay.
Them in
keep
Vegas.
Working on that. Keep working on the idea.
I'm in.
Raiders residency is the idea.
Okay.
You mentioned quarterbacks. I want to run through a few of these, and we'll get back to some of your predictions as well. There's not many quarterbacks changing teams this offseason worth a damn. Seriously. Sam Darnold is the only one on a big contract that deserves one. Justin Fields is another. So I have identified a team that is perfect for Sam Darnold, that has cap space coming off the books, that will pay him, that is a good offensive system for him to learn in. The San Francisco 49ers need to pay Sam Darnold $300 million to be their quarterback. It needs to break Joe Burrow's record for future quarterback earnings. Shanahan will bring Darnold in, and Darnold will be the guy in the Niners. They got a peek at him last year. They let him go to Minnesota. They didn't want to. They'll never let it happen again. He's looking for a sound to reject me. He can't find it because he knows Sam Darnold to the Niners makes so much sense.
He was there last year.
Yeah.
There is no way he's going back to San Francisco. He's not the quarterback for San Francisco because they're not going to pay him that much money. They don't want him. If they wanted him, they wouldn't have played Purdy all year.
They didn't pay Purdy yet. The beauty of it is they don't have to keep Purdy because they haven't paid him.
No, not pay him. Play him. They played him.
But he can go, and whatever money they're going to pay Purdy, which might be like $150 million, wouldn't you rather give that to Darnold?
I think as a coach and a GM with an ego, I don't think you try to lure back a guy you let go in the offseason, right? They didn't trade him. He was just a free agent, right? He could go anywhere he wanted. Why sign a guy that you let go? That doesn't make too much sense. It's like Baker going back to Cleveland. Maybe if they got new ownership, maybe, but I don't think it happens. There's no goddamn way.
I did this with you a few weeks ago. The 49ers and Shanahan, their QB decisions are so bad, they change their mind every year. Every year they get rid of the guy who's supposed to be the next guy up. Jimmy G, and then we had Trey Lance, and now Purdy. They're going to do it again. They always do it. They're going to swap him out because they didn't pay him yet and bring in Darnold. It makes perfect sense to me. By the way, I have Kirk Cousins going to the Midwest. 2 potential teams for him are a return to Minnesota to back up J.J. McCarthy, help him on his recovery on knee, and maybe play early in the year. The other team would be the Colts. Thick, rich ain't it, but they also don't have a high draft pick to go get another quarterback. When you take a rookie, you got to stick with them. Perfect backup like Flacco was this year to come in and fix the Colts midseason.
I like that. I do think Kirk may retire because I don't think it's like you've stolen $300 million from the NFL. You are good, and you're going to be getting paid a long time from Atlanta, that $100 million contract.
He doesn't want to go out like this because it was ugly. He couldn't drop back.
Listen, I've never had knee surgery or anything like that before, so I don't know how it feels. But yeah, the man couldn't move. So I think it's a great time for Atlanta to do this. And I guess maybe that's what the GMs and coaches saw. They're like, Kirk can't move. We got to get somebody in here just in case.
Mike, he had Achilles surgery. My coworker, much younger than Kirk Cousins, had Achilles surgery in July. He told me he jumped for the first time last week in December.
Whoa.
Achilles is big, major stuff. Yeah. So we might need to give him another year and be decent next year.
Jeremy, you got some great predictions this year. I think a lot are going to hit. Really good.
Thank you.
Mine are a little out there. I was like not even in the mindset to think about
your late night baby feeding. There's a lot going on there.
All right, I got a few more. I will AI is so smart right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I think we will either figure out some sort of time travel with the new AI computing with quantum computing, where we've basically entered a parallel universe because there's no way to power any of this without the hypothetical version of parallel universe. So we will have some sort of breakthrough at some point.
That's a scary one. If it's confirmed that there's parallel universes and we're all just, again, we're here to act normal, I won't be acting normal during that time period.
The theory that somebody said was that they think the Big Bang theory started a timeline of two parallel universes, one going in reverse time and one going in forward time, which is us, which doesn't really make sense.
Button timeline?
I guess so.
Everyone's getting younger in that one?
I don't know how it works.
We're just a little sports podcast.
I know. All right, my last one. This is a big one. I think it's for a lot of people that do work. There will be, and this is hard to define, but there will be AI agents. And I know you probably have no idea what they are and don't really care what they are, but I have seen what these things can do. Instead of like, when you make like an automation, you're like, if I hit this button, the light comes on. Or if I, like we have a podcast right now that is kind of automated with AI, but it's an automation. It's not like hey, can you do this? I think towards the end of next year or this mid-year, there will be agents available to download and put onto your computer, and you say, hey, go make me a podcast about this, and then send it off to all these people, and it will do it without any input. It will just the input of you telling it what to do, almost like somebody on the other line as like an assistant for you. They will be able to do that, and they'll be able to learn you and make decisions for you, and it will be a fully autonomous agent. And people are making these right now, and I've been like trying so hard and trying to learn all these things because I think this is like the next $billion industry, these agents, and they're absolutely insane. So I think AI agents will be taking over in the next year or two, and they'll be able to do more than you think.
I don't know what this means for content creation. We obviously have a whole team of producers and content creators and hosts on this podcast network and elsewhere. What does it mean for them? If you're just plugging what you want into a machine and it spits out the content, video, audio, the written word, all this stuff, I just don't know what it means for thousands, millions of people in the creator economy, as we say. Is AI going to replace most of these people next year, in the next 3 years? What does this look like?
I think it's more like if I needed to start a company today, I no longer need to go out and hire 10 people to help me run ads and build a website and do all this stuff. You're able now to just prompt it and talk to it and say, hey, help me build this. And we're in the beginning stages of it. We have gone from 0 to 1,000 very quickly, but I think the next year is probably going to be where we have these giant leaps, because you can even see it now where things are learning better. I mean, every week there's new shit coming out. So yeah, I think it's like a tool. It's like, I think people are scared of Photoshop and digital photography, and that was one part where like, oh my God, we can't believe anything anymore. And now we're really at that point.
It's far bygone.
I think it's just going to be an assistant for a lot of people where, maybe a team doesn't need to be 1,000 people anymore. Maybe it needs to just be 50.
As long as I keep the boss.
Yeah, the boss got to be, there's still got to be a guy in charge.
I like that one. It's like I said, AI is getting crazy. Things are taking off, and content creation is one of them. There's an ESPN thing that's coming out next year, Mike. It does have a lot of content creators working on it. It's a joint venture with ESPN, Fox, and Max. It's called Venue Sports, a new streaming service.
I thought that was killed.
That is launching. It's in the courts right now. It's supposed to launch in 2025, but one more prediction for you is it will not launch. And instead, ESPN Direct to Consumer just does their own thing. That does launch in the fall of 2025. Maybe they grab a few customers. Still, most people have cable through YouTube TV or some other means. That's how they're accessing ESPN. So Venue Sports won't launch, and ESPN Direct to Consumer launches to little fanfare right before football season.
I want to ask you, YouTube TV is raising their prices. Are you sticking with them? Because I was thinking, like, can you piece it together? You got over the air. Like, I don't really watch it other than sports, but then you don't know where the sports are. That's why it's nice to have it. And it does feel like a year-round thing because it's like I want to watch the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs.
That's how they get you with the sports calendar. Enough streaming services aren't like Peacock. Peacock is streaming everything on NBC plus so many other things. So if all these other streaming services got in line and did that, all we would need is 7 streaming services and no cable. But until then, we have to keep the cable going. YouTube TV is much more expensive than the new cable quote I just got, like at my new apartment, for example. So like cable is now cheaper. Not that I want to go to it. I like having it on my phone. Like you can just pull it up a game anytime just for a few minutes. The DVR is great. I'm not leaving it, but I'm disappointed they're raising it again.
Yeah, I don't like it. But yeah, I don't think that venue thing's going to go through because I don't think it's kind of like anti-competitive to like other people that stream sports in a way, right? Like they can't compete.
This new White House isn't going to stop at anything like that. They're going to let everything go. If you want to have a monopoly, you may proceed.
I just don't feel like, because I feel like it's a good, I think Fubo TV or whatever, Fubo or whatever is trying to fight it because they're like, hey, we have sports. We are what you're asking for. You're basically killing this company because you guys want to merge because you got to beat,
But it's just one service that is merging their products together. They're not getting into business further than that. You can't access all their content, just this one thing. I just don't think it'll work. Mike, before we go, do you have any other predictions?
No, that's it.
We did a lot of predictions. We love this show. Jim Rome is entering his 10th year of podcasting and radio shows and being on X and wherever he is. We are entering year 16. Shout out to my dad who says we're better than Jim Rome ever was, and we are going to outlast Jim Rome. I am now counting Jim Rome's years. I don't think he's going to get past 30 very much. He's like on X right now. It's not going well for him.
Where is
I'm
Jim
counting
Rome?
the years. We have 14 years to go to catch Jim Rome and officially be longer lasting than him. So that's our new goal.
Is he doing a podcast right now? What's he doing?
It's hard to find Jim Rome. I think
UPS
drivers still listen to him.
He did it looks like he's doing a radio show and then he puts it as a podcast, hour 1, 2, and 3. Very, very old school, but yeah.
The jungle. So shout out to him. He's been doing it a long time, but so have we, and we are better than Jim Rome, more entertaining, more conspiracy theories, more trends for the new year, all that on our one show.
I love it. Jeremy, Happy New Year, and we'll be back in 2025.
Wow, that's the year the aliens are coming.
They're coming. See ya.